Welcome to Snetterton. It's rounds 11 and 12 today of the historic Formula 4 Championship. All in one day today, no qualification races either. We've got a couple of reserves here. We're on the 200 circuit for the first time for the championship. 82nd laps we saw in qualifying. The cars on their green flag warming up lap for the first of what will be two 15-minute races this time. So short, sharp sprint here and plenty of slipstreaming expected. Richard Tarling will go off from pole position in the Jayman. Alongside him, returning to the championship, is Cameron Jackson. Callum Grant and Michael O'Brien, Tarling's two championship rivals, sit on row 2. Will Nuttall, who returns, he starts 5th alongside Max Bartel. Ben Tilley, Neil Shinner, Ed Thurston and James Buckton make up the top 10 of the grid. So it's a capacity grid we have here. As I say, 2 reserves, those being Ben Tusting and Lee Henson, so they'll be prepared to go if any troubles hit the rest of the runners. 2 long straights here at Snetterton, so as I said, slipstreaming will be the aim of the game. So Union Jack starts here today. The flag is up, the flag goes down, and away they go. We're on board with Callum Grant. It's a poor start from Cameron Jackson. They go through the gear. Jackson seems to recover that. It's a fantastic start from Richard Tarling. He's got a huge lead as they head down into Richie's. It's Jackson in the loader that swoops around the outside of Callum Grant to stay in second. Down into the Wilson hairpin they go, and Tarling really has got a good advantage. Grant locks up, as does Bartel and Tilley. Quite a few of the drivers there locking up into the tight hairpin. Let's hope they all make it their way around there safely on this first lap. Side by side, right to the rear of the field. That's Alison Langridge and Nick Arden. Arden round the outside. Down the Bentley straight they go then, and down towards the vehicle bridge. You can see lots of jostling already in these early stages. That's Michael O'Brien looking to the inside of Jackson and Grant. He goes to second then, so they've completely switched around. It was Jackson that led onto the straight. He's down to 4th. Grant stays 3rd, but O'Brien has gone from 4th to 2nd. Gap back to Max Bartel that leads the next group. They can see Rob Smith going down the inside of Brian Morris to gain a place down into the bomb hole. As the fields blow their way through these really quick corners around Snetterton. Here's Kevin Stanzel. He's going round the outside of Tim Bright. He gets it done, stuffs it down the inside into Murray's, and he gains the place. So a brave move there on lap 1 from Stanzel. Across the line they come then to complete the first lap. The leaders are already out of Richard Tarling with this good gap. In second place it is O'Brien with Grant behind, side by side there. That's Tilley down the inside of Will Nuttall. The rest of the field flow their way through. Plenty of jostling around. Wandsworth there, one of the drivers looking to the inside, down into the hairpin. 71, that's the only Mallock on the grid, that's Alan Cook. Here come the leaders and down the Bentley straight once again. You see Cameron Jackson moving to go from O'Brien slipstream to Grant slipstream. He's down the inside. It's O'Brien that loses 2 places. So Grant goes from 3rd to 2nd. Jackson goes from 4th to 3rd and 2nd to 4th for O'Brien. 5th is Bartel. He's escaped the battle of 6th, which is side by side. Will Nuttall in the Jayman down the inside of the Merling of Tilley. And Tilley's just about going to hang on there. It is a turn right into Coram. Yes, he's just about ahead of that 5-car tussle. Let's ride on board with Nuttall. See him working at the wheel. Down a gear into the left hand at Murray's. Tilley flings the car over the curbs. Now Nuttall is in the tow. He pulls out of the slipstream. He's on the left hand side of the circuit. Tilley defending then up against the pit wall, urging his Merlin to go quicker. The 2 cars are even as they head into Ritchie's, but the inside line for Tilley will keep him ahead. Up front though, Tarling has been caught. Grant, Jackson, O'Brien all there. It's a 4-way battle for the lead. Max Bartel is lonely in 5th. 6th is Tilley. 7th is Nuttall. That you got behind him was Neil Shinner, going well. More side by side action. That's Andrew Wiggins down the inside of Kevin Stanzel. Tim Bride's up ahead of the pair of them. Meanwhile, for the lead round the outside goes Callum Grant. So Grant goes to 1st. He caught Tarling on the latest lap, and now he got round the outside. A big slide though he had out of Nelson. And behind it's all going on as well. Will Nuttall now to the front of that 6-car, the battle of a 6, the 5-car battle. It's Tilley behind, Neil Shinner. Then side by side between Ed Thurston, who goes round the outside of James Buckton to stay ahead there. So hard to know where to look here today. so many battles through the field. That's a change for the lead once again. Tarling's got around the outside of Grant in the tow. So Tarling leads once more as they turn into Riches. He and Grant are trying to close in on Michael O'Brien in the championship. Just 9 points when drop scores were accounted for between them. O'Brien goes back past Cameron Jackson, down the inside into Wilson. He goes third. Our three championship contenders in the top three. In the opposite order they are in the championship. It's really hotting up before we head to Silverstone next time out. But we've got 2 races here to do first. 95, that's John Hayes Harlan making his way through the hairpin, and Grant re-challenging Tarling around the outside. He can't do it, but Cameron Jackson down the inside of Michael O'Brien to get third back. Jackson was the winner in the 50th anniversary race at Brands Hatch in July. He was out at Donington Park, but it's only his 4th round in the race of the season, I believe. 3 wide further back, we're on board with Andrew Wiggins. Kevin Stanzel is in the middle. On the inside, Harvey Sykes gets the place. No, he doesn't. Stanzel sweeps around the outside, which gives the inside for Nelson. The car a bit twitchy on the exit though, so Sykes is going to come back at him in towards the right-hander of the bomb hole, and they're going to run side by side right round the corner. But Stanzel on the outside line carries the momentum to head the way through Coram. Andrew Wiggins has got the run as well. He's coming around the outside of Sykes, so he's going to get ahead of him as well. So all really good racing here in the mid-pack. Here are the leaders. Defending is Tarling. Grant looks to the outside. Bit of a gap back to the Jackson and O'Brien duo. Then 5th, that's Max Bartel. Big gap back to this huge tussle for 6th. Ed Thurston now getting involved with Tilley and Nuttall. Tilley on the inside has got the place at the moment. Round the outside for the lead once again goes Callum Grant. Gets the lead away from Richard Tarling, who we are riding on board with. Right on the gearbox of Grant as they turn through the bomb hole once again. Here's Tilley. He's got Nuttall going down the inside of him in the Jamin. The Merlin for Tilley, but passing both of them in the Eldon is Ed Thurston. He used a double toe there to go through. So Thurston into 6th. Oh, but he's got in too hot. He's out over the grass. So that's going to allow Will Nuttall to go back through into 6th. It's Tilley there in P8 with Neil Shinner and James Button completing the top 10. Here comes Tilley down the inside of Ed Thurston into Coram, and he goes through. On board with Grant then, and round the outside of him comes Richard Tarling. So Tarling back to the lead. Grant though seems to carry more speed there through Richie, so he's back on the gearbox of Tarling. Tarling defends the inside line, so Grant has to go to the outside, but later on the brakes is Tarling. So Tarling continues to lead. It's going to come a really tactical game when we get into the final stages. Who's going to lead across the line? For 6th, Nuttall's being passed by Tilley. Tilley's coming round the outside here and will go through into that position. Here are the leaders. Tarling stayed ahead this time by the end of the straight. So O'Brien's back into 3rd. He's back ahead of Cameron Jackson. Grant right on Tarling there as they turn through the right-hander at Nelson. And we look back to Ed Thurston now, who goes past Nuttall. So Nuttall was passed by Tilley into Richards, and now by Thurston into Brundle. A bit wide there for Thurston, so Nuttall's going to have the run on him now. And he's coming back down the inside. But he doesn't go past this time. So in 6th is Tilley, 7th is Thurston, 8th is Nuttall. More battles. This is Cliff Gray on the outside. We're on board with Paul Unsworth. It's the Lotus on the outside then. The Palliser we're on board with is going through. Yeah, Paul Unsworth goes ahead then. Just behind them, you've got Arthur Atkinson in his first race in the championship in one of the classic Team Merlin machines, teammates to Michael O'Brien, and Dick Dixon is rounded off that 4-car battle. And no surprise, there's a change for the lead. Callum Grant goes round the outside, we're into traffic now. So let's see how they deal with this. Grant goes to the inside of the first car, that's Nick Arden. Tarling will follow him through. Then you've got Alison Langridge as well. O'Brien is going with them. So O'Brien has caught the 2 leaders here in the traffic. And Cameron Jackson there as well. So it's a 4-car battle for the lead once more. There's Bartel in P5. 6th is Tilley. He's got a gap now to Thurston and Nuttall. Here are the leaders. They're passing Langridge up towards Brundle, and back to the front has gone Tarling. Back ahead of Grant, and O'Brien there. Cameron Jackson just falling away slightly, and the Neil Fowler Lola. It's the Jamin of Tarling, the Merlings of Grant and O'Brien. Here's Cliff Gray and Paul Unsworth battle continuing, and Atkinson and Dixon just behind them. To Murray for the leaders. Get a good exit out here, it's a long acceleration up across the line and down towards Ritchie's. You can see here how close they will be if this were to be the last lap. That would be a dead heat, wouldn't it? And that is what we're looking forward to towards the end of the race. We've seen that so many times in the past here in historic Formula Ford races at Snetterton. Back into the lead then for Callum Grant. So a slightly different configuration to Snetterton we're using this season. But the racing is just as close. 4 for the lead then, because Cameron Jackson is back with the top 3. Poor Max Bartel's having a lonely race. He's in 5th. He's about the only person circulating by himself. Here's the battle of a 6th. It's side by side in traffic. Chilly and Thurston with Will Nuttall just behind. Nuttall, who was racing at Spa last week, at Goodwood the week before that, and at Zandvoort the week before that. Richard Tarling, who was also racing at Spa last weekend, just goes back into the lead. He's back ahead of Callum Grant. The two of them are starting to break away once more. Side by side, the two teenagers, that's Ed Thurston going past past Ben Tilley up towards the vehicle bridge, but passing both of them there was Will Nuttall, who was super late on the brakes. A very experienced historic driver is Will Nuttall, and he goes past both of them, and now Tilley coming back at Thurston up on the inside, and he goes back through. These positions are changing on countless occasions on every lap, let alone in the race distance. Tim Bride's making his way through traffic. He's being chased by Chris Livingston Price. They make their way through. It's Harvey Sykes up next. Here are the leaders, though, side by side up towards the Wilson hairpin. Grant looking to the outside of Tarling. O'Brien and Jackson, before then Concertina up through the hairpin. Then through the Kinkley, left-hander at Chapman Curve before the cars accelerate up the Bentley Straight. Grant back in the tow of the race leader, Richard Tarling. He goes to the outside of Tarling. Two cars will run side by side up the straight. These two drivers had a great battle at Alton Park at the Gold Cup last time out, and having another great battle here today. Grant goes for the lead. He's got the lead down round the outside at Brundle. It's the car slowed down for Nelson. He's carrying a lot of speed through there. Gets a bit of a slide on the exits at Tarling, right on the gearbox of Grant as they turn their way through. And it is a four-way battle for sure now again. O'Brien and Jackson that seem to drop away and close again, but they're right with them. Meanwhile, Ben Tilley has gone back past Will Nuttall around the outside into Brundle. They make their way out of that sequence of corners now. Tilley 6th, 7th is Nuttall, 8th behind them is Ed Thurston. Here's Tim Bride and Chris Livingston Price having a great battle. It's Harvey Sykes behind, and Andrew Wiggins goes down the inside of Kevin Stansel. They're having a great battle. John Hayes Harlow not far behind them. Tarling back to the front, back ahead of Grant in towards Ritchie's. More traffic to deal with. Tarling defends to the outside. Jinx Grant are behind them. Cameron Jackson looking to get past Michael O'Brien. Couldn't do it though, so O'Brien still third. 4th is Jackson as they accelerate out of there. Side by side, Will Nuttall coming back past Ben Tilley. Around the outside he goes at Ritchie's, and he gets that place back. Here are the leaders turning their way through. Callum Grant at the front now. In 2nd is Tarling, 3rd is O'Brien, 4th is Jackson. So once again, Grant and Tarling switch places. We should be counting the number of times they've switched positions, because it is a very large number. 3 wide for 6th, and it's Ben Tilley that comes out on top this time. And it's side by side behind him though is Ed Thurston. Follows him ahead of Will Nuttall. Quorum, they accelerate. Here comes Tarling for the lead. He's going around the outside of Grant, and he gets it, and down the inside of both of them comes Michael O'Brien. A fantastic late braking move there from O'Brien to get the lead out of nowhere, it seemed. So now we're into the closing stages. O'Brien really putting the pressure on, but Richard Tarling swooped back around the outside of him. A great move there. So he's got the lead. In 2nd it is O'Brien, 3rd is Grant. The 3 championship contenders going for the win then. up towards Brundle, they will accelerate. To the inside goes O'Brien. Is Grant going to go to the outside of both of them? Yes, he does. It's 3 wide then, heading under the bridge. Who's going to come out on top here? It's Michael O'Brien then, who leads. Second is Grant, third is Charlie. This is the order that the championship is. O'Brien's only won 1 race this year though. Look at Cameron Jackson now getting involved. He's going down the inside of Charlie. You can tell we're getting into the closing stages now. Is everybody really up in their game? Side by side ahead of Nuttall is Tilley and Thurston. Thurston's gone past Tilley, now Nuttall follows him. So into 6th position goes Thurston, 7th for Nuttall, 8th is Tilley. A big slide from Thurston though through Nelson's. That's going to put Nuttall on the inside line. And is he going to go through here? No, Thurston stays ahead. Here are the leaders heading their way down the centre straight. And here Grant squeezing up alongside O'Brien. Tarling goes to the inside of both of them. We're on to the final lap now, and Tarling's going to go back to the front in a three-way move on the inside into Ritchie's. And there's traffic to deal with on this final lap of the race as they charge up towards them into the Wilson hairpin. And it's 4 for the win then. Who's going to get it? Could be any of them. If they've got 2 big slipstreaming opportunities to go. Meanwhile for 6th, Thurston and Nuttall, they're side by side as well. They've had this fantastic battle with Ben Tilley as well. Thurston just holding on for now. And Tarling has held on to the lead down the Bentley Straight. Somehow staying ahead then of Callum Grant on this occasion. Grant, O'Brien, Jackson all there as they turn their way then into the final sequence of corners for the final time. Tarling out over the curbs and sideways. So that's allowed Grant and O'Brien are right with him. So the 3 championship contenders going for the win here as they make their way down into Murray's, the all-important exit, and then the slipstream across the line. Tarling is ahead, but that doesn't mean he'll win the race. So they make their way then up across down the centre straight into Erling. It's got Grant in the slipstream. Grant comes to the left-hand side of the circuit. They're going to be side by side as they cross the line, and it's just by the end of the nose, Richard Tarling that holds on to win. The battle for sip continuing with Will Nuttall up ahead now of Ed Thurston once again. Ben Tilley behind. There's more battles behind them as well. What an extraordinary race to start the weekend here at Snetterton. Absolutely cracking racing from the historic Formula 4 competitors once again at the Norfolk venue. Create some of the best racing of the season. Livingston Price and Bryce and Sykes were involved in a battle there. Here's Cliff Gray, Dick Dixon and Alan Cook as well, where Ross Driver has gone off meanwhile. So let's watch this battle towards the rear of the leading lap, because Dick Dixon's coming down the inside of Cliff Gray here into Brundle and he goes through. Got Alan Cook involved in that as well. There's been so many battles in this race, but with the front of the field so hotly contested, it's been hard to take our eyes away from that. But Dick Dixon's made his way through the front of that battle. Here are 2 stars of the race, Richard Tarling and Callum Grant. They switched places so many times, and it was just a 13,000th of a second that separated the 2 at the flag, with Michael O'Brien less than a quarter of a second back in 3rd. Cameron Jackson took 4th. Max Bartel was 5th. He had a really lonely race. Will Nuttall, he beat Ed Thurston by less than a 10th, with Ben Tilley behind them. Michael Grant Peterkin beat James Buckton and Rob Smith to 9th. Then Brian Morris, Chris Livingston Price, Tim Bryce, Harvey Sykes, Kevin Stanzo, Andrew Wiggins, John Hayes Harlow, Robert Tusting and Ross Driver completed the top 20. Then Dixon, Gray, Cook and Sharples also on the lead lap. A fantastic race, and we expect to see more of that later on this afternoon.